Hello, good afternoon. It's Susie with the Speckled Loon. I am scheduled to be live at 1 p.m. Central Time. It's currently just a couple minutes early. I'm just checking really quick on my phone to make sure we're working on both Facebook and YouTube, since I use a third-party streaming software to do them both at the same time. And once we do that, we'll be ready to roll. I hope everybody's having a great day. Kind of gloomy here. It's nice and warm. It's in the 60s, but we have the smoke from Canadian wildfires right now. So it looks like it's going to rain, but it's not going to rain. It's just cloudy looking. All right. We'll just make sure I'm on. We'll check Facebook first. That's yesterday's. Should just be a second. I apologize. I don't like looking at this while I'm there. We go. I'm on Facebook. I'll just make sure I'm on YouTube. That usually takes a little longer. Oh, it's on. Okay, we're good. And there's sound on both. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me, and welcome to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. My name is Susie, and I'm the owner of the Speckled Loon. Our actual session starts at 1 p.m. We've got just a minute to kill here. If you are here, if you could join me in the chat by just saying hello, where you're joining me from, that would be great. I like to see where everybody's from. I see we've got a few people with us already. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Yesterday was a beautiful day here, with nice sunny spring day. We poured a big slab of concrete in our backyard yesterday for a new shed we're building. So that was kind of exciting. And that's drying out now. So let's see here. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Hi, everybody. This is Susie. I'm coming to you from the Speckled Loon, which is my small business. And I'm going live on my Facebook page and YouTube channel simultaneously. And we today are going to be crafting this fun little gnome. I've got her here in about 3 different colors, and I'll talk about her in just a minute. She is part of the base pieces in our summer kit. So there's 2 things I just want to talk to you about before we start crafting. I'm just going to set this down and grab the first thing. Is our giveaway that we've got going on. And it is for this Honeybee DIY Decor kit. It is all these fun unfinished projects, paint and everything to make this beautiful set of mini decor here, okay? And I have, at the very first comment, I have put a link on how to enter this giveaway to make all these fun things. That's in this. We are drawing for that. Giveaway ends at noon tomorrow, and we're going live to announce the winner tomorrow night here on Facebook and YouTube at 7 p.m. So I'm going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to talk about is our subscription box. We have a quarterly DIY Decor Kit subscription box. It's coming out. The next one is the summer box, coming out May 21st. It comes out every May, August, November, and February. So right now, the next one's coming out summer, then fall, then winter, then a spring box. It's full of fun seasonal and holiday decor, and sometimes we just have everyday decor in there. So our next box, we did a reveal on it last week online, but I'll quickly talk about it. This is how it comes, all of this, and it comes full of unfinished projects and everything you need to make them. And everything's packaged up. You can see everything you need to make them except the paint. The paint is left up to you to decide because everybody likes different kinds of paint. And I'm going to show you kind of the gist of how our kits work once they're put together and painted. And we're going to paint this little gnome today so you can kind of see that as well. But when you get your kit, it comes with base items. So we painted this one, comes with a barn base this month or this quarter. And we painted the barn online yesterday. If you look back on my page, you'll be able to find that. And then it comes with 3 themes. It comes with right now, and there is the farmer theme. And then you've got your farm life gnome. Let's see here. She's in the, yeah, the gnome comes and she matches it. Okay. And then you have a tag, a cutting board tag for each thing as well. And there's 3 themes this time. There is this farm life theme. There is, if you can see back behind me, a 4th of July theme. And then there is an ice cream shop theme. And I'll kind of show them all at the end so you can see. But I'll show you a picture. So this is everything done up in the farm life. You got your gnome over here and your cutting board tag here. And then all those fun little things, this little circle comes out and there's a little banner that switches out and the little items that sit in there swap out as well. And then the next theme in the kit is the ice cream shop. And same thing. See, we just switched the hat and what the gnome is holding. We switched out the tag and we switched out everything inside. And then the last one is that 4th of July theme. And there you've got your 4th of July gnome. We have a little brace on the back, actually, if you can see here, for the flag to stick out to the side. I'll show you a little closer. That we put on there too. And then you have your gnome and your cutting board tag on there. So that is how it works. You have the one barn, the one gnome, and the cutting board, and then everything switches out on it. So that is how our kits work. There's always base pieces and interchangeable things. Those base pieces change every quarter. If you really like them, sometimes we bring them back, or we give you the opportunity to get more parts to them, that type of thing. But that is how our kits work. Hi, Cindy and Peggy are here. Hello. Anybody else here, please say hello. And we are going to get busy painting this gnome here. So I'll just show you quickly, if you can see, like right here, she has got an ice cream cone and a hat to match. Okay, the hat comes off. The little ice cream cone comes out of her hand. She's got a little notch in here where the hat goes. See the little notch in the hat? It goes right behind there. And then her hands are just raised a little bit so they hold things. So let's say we wanted her to have a farmer hat instead. So then we take this. Okay. Then we put the farmer hat and we'll give her the carrots to hold. Just like that. And then the final thing is the 4th of July theme. So you take that, give her the 4th of July hat, and then we'll have her hold the star. So you get one of these gnomes in there. I've got 3 different examples here just so you can see how it's painted up differently and how it looks different. But that's how she looks and holding the different things. So it's kind of fun to have something that switches out. You make the base and then you make the accents. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to paint and put together this gnome in her 3 different hats and her 3 different little things that she holds. I call them tokens. So I'm going to just move a couple things around here and then we are going to get started. So first thing I need to do is move my keyboard and my mouse, and I'm just going to move my girls over here for a second because we'll be showing them. Whoops, knocked her over. Get rid of this, and I'm going to bring up a special little tripod that's going to hold my camera over here so it's very easy for you to see me painting and working with the markers. So we're going to work with paints that I have in my inventory, but you can really use any kinds of paints. I like to work with chalk paints and markers. Here we go. But you can work with whatever works best for you. Okay. There we go. I think you can see that now, not so much of me, but you can still hear me. That's the main thing. And then I'm going to be working here. I'm just getting the cord out of the way. All right. So like I said before, here's what our gnome looks like. I'll hold her up close. I'll get the standoff since she is down horizontally. So that's that with her farmer hat. And then she holds carrots. And then we have got, and you can see now better that notch that goes right in this little slot that's going to be there for you. And each hat has a little thing on it, and it has a little detailing. I'm going to talk about how I do that detailing on the hat for you as well, and her little stitching details, that type of thing. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to just have her finished ones kind of sitting up here as inspiration so we can kind of see what we're looking at. I can keep on track with what I want to do. Okay. We lost her ice cream cone. We'll find that in a minute. Oh, there it is. Okay. So when your gnome comes in your kit, it comes unfinished, and it's got a nose, 2 hands. These are the little spacers that go underneath the hands to lift them up off of her. 2 little feet. She has got her hair in her dress, and then she's got this background piece that is the base that's going to fit into this slot here when she stands. So it's pretty easy to put her together. And then each theme has got, I started on a couple things, but this is a hat, and this is the beginning of the ice cream cone and the little heart. This is the hat for the farmer gnome, and it's got a sun and a little carrot, and we'll finish painting those in a minute. And then this is the 4th of July, the star that she holds and the star that goes in the hat. I already painted the hat blue just to get a head start, so we're not just watching me paint the whole time. But we will do a little bit of painting and a little bit of use of markers for this one. I like to use paint markers in different colors. For instance, I'll use this paint marker for the carrots. I'm going to do her hair with a yellow marker, that type of thing. But the first thing I'm going to do is, because it's going to take the longest to dry, I'm going to paint on her dress. Now, if you see on her dress, I've got little marks here where the nose is going to go and her little spaces for her hands are going to go. The paint will cover them up, but they're still visible. But we don't have to dig them out to keep them visible. They'll just fill up with paint, and they'll just be there as a guide, so we know exactly where to paint her hands. And a lot of our projects have little spacer items like that. Now, what I like to do is, I've got a little bit of blue paint. It's just this. It's called Ocean Blue. It's Waverly, and I get it at Walmart, and it's chalk paint. So you just go down the aisle where they have their crafts, and you'll find it. And I take just a little bit of paint on this sponge, and this is how I paint my small items. Now, this blue is a nice dark blue, and I'm going to be able to probably get away with just 1 coat because it's so nice and dark. Your lighter colors, sometimes you have to do a 2nd coat. And as you can see, I'm trying not to get a whole bunch clumped on the side because her hair has to fit in here. So I want to keep the sides as clean as possible. But if I do go over, I'll just wipe it up right away. But this is how quick a lot of our projects paint, especially if you're using a darker color and don't have to do a 2nd coat. They come out really nice the first time. This MDF just kind of soaks up the paint and gives you a nice little even coat on there. And the other nice thing is, I do provide these sponges in your kit. And if they get dried out, you can just snip off the end of it and use it. And if you need just a little bit, you can use this end and get just a fine little detail. But we're just going to leave that as is. I'm pretty happy that the coverage and everything on that. We're going to set that aside. I'll just set it aside right over here to dry while we're working on our other pieces. So I'm going to move this one with paint away. I'm going to bring up a new clean paper plate. And what I like to do for my small items, especially when I'm working with markers, is I like to tape them down to a paper plate. It just makes it easier to work with. I'm going to tackle her hair first. I've got a particular color of yellow that I really liked that I used on here. And then I'm going to use our bonus tool our antique wax and one of our little brushes that come with your kit. Every kit comes with a bonus. This bonus in this kit is the bonus tool is this antique wax, an emery board, and then a set of these two distressing brushes. They're a stiff bristle, excuse me. They're a stiff bristle brush, and they're really good for putting on like things if you want it to look like wispy hair, that type of thing. And this antique wax isn't just brown paint. It's kind of a translucent. When you put it on something, it looks more like a stain than a paint. This is one of the stands with it on. And I like to use it also for, like, if you look at the heart on this, it's got some shading. I like to use it for shading, and gives it, we can make things have more of a rounded or a 3D effect with it. So it's kind of a multi-purpose item, different ways to put it on. And we'll go over all that here in just a minute. But I am going to go ahead and paint her hair with a marker. And the marker I am using is this one from Arteza, and it's called Bumblebee Yellow. They come in a set of 40 markers, and I think it's like, I don't know, probably $40 for the whole set, but you basically have every color of the rainbow in there, and it's really a good set. I've had mine for 3 years, and I just now have 2 or 3 markers in the set that I use a lot, my black, my brown, and my white, that are going dry, but all the others are good. And then it comes with a whole bunch of replaceable tips, which is nice. Now there's another set we're going to be using today too. They're the new ones from Sharpie, and those are really good too. They're just a different brand, and they have a brush tip on them, so they're a little different. But you can see the nice coverage I'm getting. Here's where I have not painted. Here's where I went over with the marker. The nice thing about the marker is just a nice even coat. You're not saturated with paint. It's not globby. And if you put it on, certain ones kind of look shiny, like these ones look a little shiny, but I put them on over white paint. But if you put them on over on just the bare, dull, raw wood or raw MDF, they just soak right in quite well. And you can see on her hair, we have the rest of the spot for the nose and the rest of the spot for the hands. And then when we get those items on, those lines will not show anymore. But that's what her hair looks like with one coat of the yellow marker. It's pretty good. I might come back and do a second coat. I'm going to see what it looks like here in a minute. I like to let things dry. She also has a nose and 2 hands that we're going to want to paint. And I'm going to put the nose on there, and I'm going to get another little piece of tape out for the hands. For my flesh colored pieces, I decide what flesh color I want for my gnome, dark, light, whatever. And then I just pick out an appropriate marker in that color and color them as such. So what I like to use, and I've used on all these, is this ballerina pink. It's kind of a duller pink, almost flesh tone colored. And I'm going to just do that. And it's hard to see from far away, but you can see I'm getting a dull pink on there. Doesn't show that great on the camera, but as it dries, you'll see it. We'll maybe do 2 coats there. I went over it again. Now you can see it a little bit. Compared to the hands, you can kind of see that dull pink on there. Just to give it, now if you wanted to think of her hands like mittens, you could make them any color, but since she's got a bunch of different things she's holding, I didn't want to do mittens because she's a summer gnome. So let's see here. Yeah, it's got to go that way and that way. Yeah, I want them opposite. So that's good. Okay, now I may again come back and do a second coat on those, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I'll bring them up and make sure I got everything. Looks good. Okay. So those are pretty much done. The other place we need to do pink on her, the only thing you need to, this you can leave unpainted, except for this little part of her leg is going to show. So I am going to color in here very roughly because my boot is going to go ahead and cover up anything, and then her skirt's going to cover up here, but we got just this little gap here where it's going to show, and I don't want it to be raw wood showing. I want it to be look like it's her skin, or she's got tights on or something like that. So I'm going to do that. And so that's all the base parts of her that we're going to paint, except for the, her boots. So for her boots, I like to do them black. So I'll put them on here, and I will get out a black marker. I'm going to bring down this just a bit closer so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and then we can raise it up later. Okay, so here is we'll use one of the brush markers for this. This is the black brush marker, and this is that Sharpie Creative markers. They just came out, and I think I posted that I was doing a review on them. I have used them when I was working on items for the fall and winter boxes, and I really like them. Look at this nice coverage I'm getting. They have several colors. They don't have a lot of, but they don't have 40. That comes in a pack of 12. So like my Arteza markers that have the 40 colors, this has more, I guess, primary colors, and it doesn't really have a good flesh tone marker. So it's lacking a little bit in the selection department, but the coverage of them is really good. And like if I was going to take their red and put it over this black, it would go right over it. You get a nice opaque covering. And they do tend to go on pretty matte, which I prefer as to the shiny. But that is how quick and easy it is to color the shoes. Now, for her hat and all her little accents, we're going to go over those in just a minute. Okay, but this is kind of the basic, or the like this is almost dry already. There's that, and then this just fits right over it. And then we'd put on our spacers. Oh, I see, I missed a little spot, and things like that. So I'm going to let all her there we go. All these pieces dry basically. Then we'll put some accents on them. And the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add just a little bit of accents onto this hair, some wispy parts. I want her hair to look like strands and not just solid yellow. So I am going to just move a couple things out of the way here. It's a good little spot to put things so I don't forget where they're at. I don't lose them. Okay, so for her hair, pour out just a tiny bit of this antique wax. Really don't need much. And I'm going to just kind of dab off and almost have it like a dry brush effect. You can see there. And I'm going to test just a little bit on my finger first. Okay, that looks good. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of go with the curve of her hair along the edge and give her kind of a wispier look to her hair. Okay. Kind of a dirty blonde, I guess. And if it's too much, you can just kind of rub it in and then just have that highlighting effect. But as you can see, I did it on this other one too. It's kind of the same thing, where you can take and just kind of go with, see how her hair's got these natural curves to it for her braids. And just give it a little bit of a different look. I like to scuff up and have my, and if it's too much, you can just go over it with your marker again. Just say, hey, I don't like that. It's too much. I'd prefer it bright. But I'm just doing that. Everything in this kit for me is like, it's been outside, it's on the farm. So it's going to have that look to it. So we're going to go to work now on her hats. The first hat I did already was this hat for her 4th of July. And then she's got a star that's going to go on it and a star that she's going to hold, if you can see. And I like to I rough it up a little with the emery board, and then I like to do these little white accent stripes or hash marks on everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my emery board and I'm just going to rough it up a little bit. I like to get the edges so they look a little raw, a little rugged. And this is optional. Some people don't like that look. I'm not deep distress, but I like a little bit of distress, right? And then as I'm doing this, I'm just getting the excess and brushing the excess away. This is shaking too much. Sorry. I'll try to do it up off here. Okay, and then the other thing I like to do is a little bit of shading. So I'm going to take my antique wax, and I want this to have a shading effect where it looks darker on this side as opposed to the other side. So I'm taking this and I'm just rubbing it in. And I'm getting that darker look on one side of the hat and the other, and it's going to look a little better once it dries. But that's just kind of your look that you get. And then it gives it a more rounded look to the hat. Okay. And all the things I'm showing you here are things that I show you on the video tutorial for this particular kit. So here now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red marker. Oh, is that red or orange? Yeah, it's red. It's just not a deep red. I might use something different. Kind of looks pinkish. Got another red I like better, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, this Arteza red is a little darker. We're going to go over that. That's the nice thing about these markers is like you can start out and then they just kind of cover each other. And that's all I'm doing for this. I'm going to add some highlights to it here in a minute after it dries. And then we've got the bigger star down here for her that she will be holding. And if your marker kind of feels like it's running out of its juice, you just give it a little shake and pump it a little, and then more comes through. And like I say, my Arteza set I've been using for 3 years now. It's probably time for me to get at least maybe just the primary colors replaced, because I use them all year round. So to get 3 years out of a marker is pretty darn good. But I just like this. You can obviously, if you don't want to get markers or invest in them, you can also do a little bit of paint on one of the Q-tips that I put in your kit, and you just dip them in the paint and rub them. And this works like a teeny tiny paintbrush. That works too. But in the long run for our kits, I think almost all of our members have purchased a set of markers. Okay, so that is what her hat and her 2 stars look like once you color them up and do some highlighting. Now the other thing I'm going to do is that little accent with a white marker here. Okay, and I've got this one is yet another brand. This is my best white marker. White markers are really hard to find. They dry up and they and it's hard to find one that isn't too watery. So I have tested 3 or 4 different kinds, and I really like this. It's called Artisto, and you get a 6-pack of them on Amazon. But I like to go around my hat and just do a little bit of highlighting here and there all around it. Okay. And just all I'm doing here is tracing the edge. And I do kind of a dot and a dash system. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's all I do. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes I'll do it all on one side and not on the other. If there's a fun curve, I like to accentuate that. And just do that. It adds a little something extra to it, I feel. Now, you don't have to do that. Another fun accent is to just put a little hash mark on there, kind of like stitching. I like that too. Some people go very fancy or use a special brush. I just like this white marker. I feel it does a nice, easy job of it. I also like to do it along one side of her star. Same thing. And again, it doesn't have to be exact along the edge. It can be a little bit less or more. And I will do that. And I'm going to do just a little hash mark on her star. Okay, that's the star she's going to hold. And then this is her little star on her hat. And I will do just a little bit there. And a hash mark there too. So now all I need to do to get her ready is I'm going to glue this hat or the star onto her hat. So again, I'll leave this up so you can see our Artistro is the white marker that I like to use. Like I said, I've used 3 or 4 different kinds. This one is the best one I've found so far. So, you know, if I like it so much and if I can get it into the kit, it might be one of our bonus crafting tools in the future. All right, and I'm just going to check comments while we're here, just to make sure nobody else has said anything. Oh, we got Stacy here too. Hello. We've got 3 or 4 people watching. More people tend to catch the replay because when I go on during the day, usually people are working. But I like to go on in the afternoon. Now I am going to put this on. I can put it anywhere except for this notch. I'm going to have it so it hangs off the hat just a little. I like that look. I think that's kind of fun. Okay. So that and that. So her 4th of July look, that's ready to roll. We're going to set that aside. And then we are going to go to work on her farmer hat. So for our farmer hat, if you can see, I have got the sun. I did the middle of the sun in orange, and I did the outer part in yellow. And then on her, I already colored the stems green with a green marker, and then I'll do orange on here because it gets boring for you guys to just sit and watch me use markers all day long. So I'm going to take the sun, and it comes apart. It comes like this and like this, so you can easily color up the yellow and then the orange and not have to worry about them bleeding over each other. So I'm going to do my yellow first, and then I'll do all my orange. So the yellow I'm doing on the outer part. I'm going to use that same bumblebee yellow that I used on her hair. And you can see that coming on there nice and bright. Doesn't show much so great on the camera as it does on her. You can see it better up on this one. Once it's on, though, you'll see. Yellow is another one of those colors that I use a lot of. Let's just see if there's a brighter one here. We'll do this one. It's a little brighter. This is that brush marker. You can see that's a little brighter. I'll do that one. Since it's the sun and not her hair. Sun is meant to be bright, correct? Okay, that's better. Kind of like that light over dark effect it got. There we go. Okay, so there's that part. We'll do the inner part of the sun, and we'll do the carrot. We'll set that aside. I really like working with these markers. I find for the smaller items, they are a challenge for me to paint. Personally, I have poor eyesight, and I have to get in really close. And it's easier for me to get a nicer looking end product when I use the markers. So if you'll see on the carrot, all these little squiggles and stuff, how nice the marker just goes right over them and leaves them dark. So you've got your accents in there. If you get a little bit more on there, you can just wipe it off. Got over there a little bit. But there's part of the carrot done. I'll do the other side, and then we'll do a little, we'll dirty the carrot up and do some accents on it. But also I'm just looking to make sure I get good coverage and I don't have any spots on here where just the raw wood is showing through. I want it to look as real as possible. So this is what the carrot looks like. Okay, now I'm going to just take out my little brush where I have been using to accent things. I'm going to take and just do a little bit of shading on this carrot here to get it a little dirty looking, because you know how it is when we take carrots out of the ground. They're never 100% clean, right? They've got a good amount of dirt. Who had a big garden growing up? Because we did. And I loved pulling the carrots and the peas fresh out of the garden, and then we'd have them at night. There we go. See how that looks? We'll do up here a little bit. And that shading just gives it that little extra dimension. Like I said, not everybody is into that, but I like the look that it gives. It's just very subtle. Same thing on this hat. It's much too nice and neat to be a farmer's hat. So again, I'm going to just take my emery board, stuff it up a little bit. Get that rough looking, and you can kind of see when I do the edges, the effect that gives. It gives it that lighter effect along the edges, kind of that worn look that we're just kind of going for in this kit. Now, and not every kit is like that, but this one, since it's summer and it's farm and outside, kind of that, you know, that worn look, that is kind of what I'm going for. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do that and brush off the excess. Then I'm going to go around with my white marker and do that same detailing. And I will do my same detailing or my same highlighting here to get this. And it looks really nice on this. Hey, this is a hazelnut color. If I shade this up a little bit, you can see I'm getting that 3D effect on that hat, that rounder look to it, that shade, and I can just kind of blend it in. Okay. And it's just got that subtle, very subtle shading. Trying not to shake the camera here because it's on my table. To that hat. Hard to see on camera again, but in the end product, it looks really nice. So now I'm going to take my trusty rusty white, and I'm going to do that same trick where I just kind of follow along here. And I love the fluidity of this white marker. Like I said, it's hard to find a good one. So when I find one, I like to use it. Okay. So that, I think since this is the farm, again, I'm going to do a little hash mark at the top. Figure out where I want to put my sun. I think I'm just going to kind of put it over. We did the star over to this side. Maybe we'll do the sun on this one over to this side, just to have it a little bit different. So for this, again, I'm just taking my glue, and this is the glue that I use for all my makings of things. I make thousands of things every year for craft fairs, so I have to have a bulk thing of glue, but I give you a small tube of gel super glue in your kit, and that is more than enough for you to finish it off, and that also has a little tip on it too. Now let's just say I needed to be really precise with my glue application. I could take this and put a little bit on the tip of a toothpick and then put it in and have a very small amount. But here I'm just putting a few drops inside this middle of the sun because this just plops right on in then. And that's how a lot of the things in our kit are, where it looks like, oh, that's a complicated piece, but if you take it apart and then paint it with markers, it's very easy to do. So there is the top and the bottom, or the token in the hat for our farmer gnome. Now, our last one, I got a little bit of a head start on it, but I just wanted to do the waffle cone part. And then we are going to paint the hat on this one. I'm going to use a marker on it. And we are going to paint the heart. So I thought what I would try was this kind of pretty pale pink that's in the brush marker. And I haven't done a whole big thing like a hat with these brush markers yet. But I wanted to see how it worked. And this is actually very pretty. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but it looks lavendery there, but it's a very pretty pink. I did super bright pink on this one, and it's a little too bright. I want it a little more muted, more like an ice cream pink, where everything on an ice cream is just a little bit muted. Okay, so, and I like with these brush markers to just kind of use the side because you get a nice long streak of color. Look at how quickly that's going on and how nice that's covering. And you don't really get brush marks at all. You kind of do while it's wet, and then once you kind of go over it and it dries, you don't see them. I'm just going to move this for a second. Put this down on the two pieces of. And you can see how this tape just acts like a third hand for me and just holds it down. And then I'm not having to stick my finger on there and hold it and get my fingers all painted up. Very cute. Okay, I'm going to see. I just have a little spot there I missed. Okay, so that is her hat. Now, I think for her heart on the hat, I will do a brighter pink just because I want that to stand out a little bit more. So I have this. Yeah, that's a little bit of a darker pinkish red, kind of a magenta almost. I'll do that. And then for the ice cream, I decided I want to try to make it look like it's Neapolitan. So I'm going to use that same pale pink brown for the chocolate and then white for the top. So we'll see how that goes. But that's going to be dark pink on light pink. I like how that looks. Very cute. And we'll add our accents on that once this one's all dry because that one is not dry yet. So we're going to talk about her cone here. I am going to get that pink marker out again. I'm going to have that be the bottom part. I'm going to have this middle part be chocolate and the top part be white. Now, what I want to do here is that bottom part has got to go in these drips. So I'm going to come in there first and just very carefully look at how precise I can get with that brush tip. And get right in there, and I had a little bleedage from my brown. I can just fix that and go right over it with my pink. See that? And I show you how to do all these things, like I said on the video. Now see how there's this natural cut-in little highlight marks here. I'm going to use that as my guide for how much pink I want to do. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to color all of this pink. And I'm just getting really close in on those edges. Okay, so there I've got the brown and the pink. All right, next part I want to do is the chocolate, and I'm going to use my little fine point. The other thing that Arteza does is they've got the same set of 40 and a fine point. So I'm going to use that for my chocolate, and I'm just going to make my outline first. If you can see, I'm just going to go with that outline, that dark outline there. And then I'm going to come in, and since this is fine point, I can kind of outline right where I want to go and then just fill it in. That's the nice thing about the precision you can get with these markers as opposed to paint. Paint is great for the big things like the base of our barn, our dress, those hats, etc. But the markers are nice for those smaller items where you just need a little accent. Okay, I'm going to just bring this up to my eyes so I can see if I've missed anything. Okay. And so now we've got the pink and the brown for our Neapolitan. And I am going to go back with that pink again. Is that right here? That's the black. Oh, here it is. I missed a little spot on the pink. So there we go. Just get that in there. Just perfect. And it looks lighter for a second and then it darkens up. Okay. All right. So I've got white and I think I will take out my white Artisto and just do that on the top because you get pretty good coverage with this, as you can see. I had a couple of customers when they first subscribed. They're like, why do you use markers? And I said, because it's easy. And the one said, it seems like cheating. But I'm like, no, it just makes it easier for you to get a good result. There's Susan from Pensacola's with us. Great. Okay, so there you go with her. Now look at that. That is so cute. And it's got your cone. I just kind of used a bronzy brown there. And then I did the marker with pink, brown, and white. So we've got that Neapolitan look to it. And we can do our accents on here if we want, you know, to give it a little accent on each color. I just like what that adds. Maybe a little bit along the side here. Like that. Just a little bit of highlighting. That's just, I kind of think that's like almost a pro tip with that white marker. I just feel like it does such a nice little extra amount as opposed to just a flat. Now again, I could come here and do a little shading. Just to get that bit of highlighting. That's very subtle. I'm going to go a little heavier with it. There we go. So you can see it on camera. But look at that. Just bringing that bit of shading. Been out in the dirt all summer. That type of thing. Look to it, right? Okay. So now that's done. And now I'm going to do this for the heart. I'm going to do a little bit of accent with the white on that too. Give it a little pump there. There we go. That's what it needed. And I'll do a little hash mark on the heart. Okay. Hash mark up here. And I think I'll just kind of do that one, kind of middle, kitty wampus in the middle. And again, as long as I don't have it on that notch, we're good. So I'm going to get that ready to roll. Then our accents are done and we just have to put together our gnome. So you can see that if you kind of have everything laid out and, you know, you figure out your color scheme beforehand, it goes a lot quicker. Sometimes you like to just do it on the fly and that's fine. Me personally, I'm just weird that way, but I just like to have my colors figured out kind of beforehand. I kind of lay things out, see the examples, and see what I want to do. But there we go with that and that. I'm loving the look of the matching of that pink with the pink hat. I think that's really cute. Okay. So now it's just time to put our gnome together, and she goes together pretty easy. So just move a couple things out of the way here. Okay. So you're going to want to take your base, and this is your hat, or this is your hair, and this is your dress. I like to fit those together first before I do anything. And then to get them to stay together, I'm going to put the spacers on them. If you can see, we just have a very faint outline of where those go. Okay. And that's going to hold my hair and dress together. And that way I just have one piece to glue on top of here as opposed to two. So I'm going to get my spacers out. And of course, I've lost them. There they are. Cleverly hidden. All right. And on the spacers, they go down fat and up, fat and down, skinny and up. And they do not have to be painted. The spacers can be left unpainted. Okay. So I'm going to just go into the back of this spacer and I'm going to get my glue on. Okay. And just putting it right where it needs to go. Okay, I'm going to press that one down. And I'm going to do the other one. I kind of like these parts where you don't have to paint them. It makes it go a lot quicker. There we go. Okay, and that kind of holds her together. Gives her a little one-piece wonder instead of two pieces to put on her. Then what you do here for her is she lines up not at the top. That is where the space for the hat support is. She lines up right on the bottom hem here. Okay. And I'm just going to, before I put her on, I wonder if I want to do any accents on her dress. I think I might do just a couple little lines at the bottom of her dress. That's really because the tokens will cover a lot of the inside of the dress. So I'm just going to do that little bit of outlining right at the bottom. Okay. And then, like I said, I like to get mine nice and lined up and do a dry run before I ever put any glue on. So I'm familiar that how this goes together. So once I put that glue on, you only have a few seconds and I can get it right into place. So when I've got a big base piece and a big overlay, is like what I like to call them, I like to put a little bit of glue on the base piece. And I'm just doing long strings of this glue and some dots. And then I like to always do glue where the two pieces meet. So there'll always be a strong hold there. And I'm going to do some, and I kind of try to keep the glue inside as much as possible. So it's not going to be oozing out on the sides and bottom. Okay. So I'm getting and just kind of using my fingers for my guide. Okay, that looks good. She's lined up on the bottom. I feel like she's lined up even on the sides. Nothing is hanging over too much. And then once I have her eyeballed and in a good spot, I can take a couple of my mini clamps here and just hold her while I work on the rest of her pieces and parts. So she has got these shoes and they're all black. And that's fine, but I want to get that little cute little curve accentuated on it. It's really hard to see, but there's a curve cut into there. So if I take my white marker and just go like that, you can see that curve now. And maybe I want to do hash mark on that. Okay. And same thing with her other shoe. Okay. Do a hash mark on that. All right. Trying to keep this in frame for you. If I get off frame, I apologize. Then I'm going to just line these up. They're going to go right on there. And I just want to make sure that I leave this little strip here clear because that is what's going into the stand for her to stand on. So I want to make sure that I've got them lined up, but I'm leaving that strip exposed. Okay, because that's for her stand. So I'm going to close up my white marker. They dry out, like I said, they dry out so darn fast, so I like to keep them closed up. But again, for the shoes, I'm just going to put some right on the bottom here. And I'll do one at a time. And do this left one first. And like I said, I want to get it lined up edge to edge. I don't want to have a bunch, see, like right there, I'm not lined up on the edge. There we go. And I've got, I just kind of use my fingernails in there and kind of just hold it. But that's good there. I can take that and just hold that. And that kind of makes it easy to hold her while I'm getting the other one on. And you can see where we did that little bit of painting with the, for her tights. Could have painted them a different color if you wanted. You could have even done them black, like she has black tights on. That would have worked just fine. And here again, I want to make sure I'm leaving this strip at the bottom exposed. And I've got her edges covered. Okay, so she's going to be able to stand in her stand. All right, so we'll do that. So next we're going to get to work on her nose. And you see where this cutout is? That's where this notch for those hats fits right in. And her nose just covers that. Isn't that neat how that's engineered in there? So basically, I'll glue on the nose, and that's what holds the hat down. You don't need a magnet or anything. So what I like to do is I like to put my glue on here. I don't like to get any on the upper part of the nose because I don't want it to be wet and stick to the hat. So take, and I'm going to put my glue right along that outline, just like that. That way I'm not getting any in here that's going to ooze out and make the hat sticky. Okay. So I'm just using that outline as my guide for placement. And I'm going to come like this and like this on that nose to get it good and held down. Okay. So next we're going to go and we will do her hands. And her hands go just like the spacers do. They're going to rest right along there, and they go fat side down, skinny side up. Okay. So I like to just kind of see how they're going to go. They're just a little bit fatter than the spacer. So that's what lifts these up. So it can hold the items, but they don't get lost. If you're here still, say hi. Tell me what you think of this little project so far. I'm just going to check comments. And here we've got Susan's here from Florida. She's a good, loyal tuner inner. She's a box member too. And so they're getting a little sneak peek of how to do things for their box, and they can start thinking about what colors they want to do. And probably I'm going to got the video ready to go for this, so I might set it live a couple days early so you guys can kind of see and get your shopping list ready to roll. But this is how I want my hands to be. They're going to be lifted on there, and I don't want them to be off this way, so I've got extra showing. Okay, I want them to be lined up, back edge, I guess, right edge, left edge to left edge, right edge to right edge, and to the bottom. And then it's got that little bit of area there where your items can tuck in. So I am going to put the glue on the spacer itself. And this raw MDF on the spacer to the raw MDF on the back of the hand, they set up darn quick. So I am going to get that on there best that I can. And then I'm going to just, again, take my clip. And these little guys, you can get something like these at the Dollar Tree. But also, if you got my winter box, you got a pair of those in there. Like that was another one of our crafting tools. We give away a lot of fun crafting tools. Okay. Whoops. Get that lined up. Okay, that looks good. Now while she's doing her final setup, the one last thing we can do is she has this cute little stand, and it comes unfinished. You can leave it unfinished. It's up to you. But you can also give it, you can paint it whatever color you want. I'm going to take just a little bit of our antique wax and put on there. And I'm just going to take a rag and wipe it. And then it just looks like a stain. See how quickly that goes on? And I like the look of that as opposed to just the raw wood. Get one more little drop on there. You can see how this is a little 2-ounce bottle of antique wax, but a little bit is all you need for everything. And it's such a wonderful accenting tool. I'm really excited for you guys to try it. Tell me what you think about it once you get your box. Now, if you're interested in our box, if you will look at the bottom of their screen here, right down, scrolling along the bottom, it tells you how to get on the wait list. I've got so many boxes a month that I make up for our members, our existing members that I've spoken for them, and I make a few extra every quarter. And I have those for new members. So those on our wait list get first access to those open boxes, and they usually sell out on the wait list. So if you really want to get one, you get on that wait list, and then you will be able to get a box. Okay, so she is ready to go. That glue sets up pretty darn quick. So here's what she looks like. We did the blue dress, we did the yellow hair, the flesh tone on her nose and hands, and we got her little black boots on there, and we have stained her little stand that she will fit in. She fits in just like that. It's a nice snug fit, which is what you want for a stand. Okay, then she fits in just like that. Then she's going to be able to stand on your display. Okay, and we did her in 3 themes. We've got her pink hat and her ice cream cone. All right. We have got her carrots and her farmer hat. And I kind of glad we did the blue. It kind of looks like denim to me, with, you know, kind of like a farmer's denim. So for summer, that's the perfect look, I feel like. I think of jeans in summer. And here's her little star for the 4th of July and her hat. So that is what our gnome looks like, all painted up. I'm going to switch our camera around here real quick, and so we can talk again, and then we'll talk about what's coming up for the rest of the week and next week. Take you for a little ride here. All right. Whoops. There we go. Try my little camera holder on her. It took a tumble. Okay. I got to come up a little bit more for you, so you're not looking down at the top of my head. There we go. Okay. So what did you guys think of our gnome? I think she's really cute. I'll show her up standing again, and I'll show all our looks. But here she is with the 4th of July look. Okay, we did that star. We did a little hat and a star on it. And you can see where that notch in the hat went in that special little opening right behind her nose. Here's our farmer look. All right. And her carrots. And there we use that hazelnut brown on her hat. And we did the carrots with the orange and green and orange and yellow on the sun. Okay. And then our cute little pink hat. And our Neapolitan ice cream cone for our ice cream shop look. What do you think? Yes. I hope you like her. I think she's really fun. And like I said, you can put, I'm just looking for my stand here. You can put whatever color you want on her. That's the fun thing about it, is if you want her to have that plainer look, here she is with a gray dress. And that gray looks really nice. I'm just going to stick her here. And here she is with a brown dress. And I'll put, let's see here. I'll put the 4th of July on the brown dress so you can kind of see. But that's her with a brown dress, blonde hair. On here I did white hair. You can do whatever, black hair would look great, whatever color you want to do. There we go. So those are kind of some different looks that you can get for your gnome that's going to be in there. She's going to match. And I kind of like this interchangeable gnome. We'll probably have a boy or a girl option in other kits in the future. But it's really fun. So here's what we've got going on for the rest of the week. If you have not done so already, you need to sign up for our Honeybee DIY Decor Kit. I am giving that away. That is open until noon tomorrow, noon Wednesday. And then we're cutting that off. And then Wednesday night, I'm coming on here at 7 p.m. Central to announce who won that. All right. So that's the Honeybee DIY Decor Kit. You go to the Speckled Loon. Got to adjust my glasses here. thespeckledloon.com/win-a-kit. And then you just put in your name and your email address and you win a kit. Okay. At the bottom of the screen, we've got it going, but you also need to get on the wait list for our subscription box so you can get this cute little gnome along with the barn and all the other fun things in it. And we will make that. We're going to make the tags next week, but that will launch on the 21st. So make sure you get on the wait list for that. So those are the things that we've got going on for the rest of the week. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, you can drop a message through the Facebook, or you can, our email and everything's on the About section. And you can get a hold of me, I think, through just doing a comment on the YouTube video as well. But you can get a hold of me anytime that way. And I'm excited to see you enter to win that kit, and also on the wait list to get the next box. So you guys have a great afternoon. We will see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. We will not be crafting. We're just going to be announcing the winner of the Honeybee DIY Decor Kit and talking about the subscription box a little bit more. You guys have a great day, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks. Bye for now.